everybody. Happy Wine Wednesday. I hope you are having a fabulous day. Your week has been even better, and your seahorses and reef tanks are magical. Unfortunately, for me, actually, before I get into that, we're doing the menage a trois again today. I've come to really like it. It's a blend of Zinfandel, Merlot, and Cabernet. And I also like their silk version, which is a Pinot Noir, Syrah kind of blend, which is very good too. That's it for the wine. As you can tell, I'm kind of tooty today, guys. That's because my Wednesday has been horrific. Literally, we have two vehicles, only two, for two adults, and unfortunately, one decided to die today at a store. And so we had to go and try to jump it. It wouldn't jump. So as we speak, I almost canceled Wine Wednesday. Sorry, I'm a little bit late, guys. I almost canceled because the bottom line is the significant other is literally outside putting in a battery, and he's no mechanic. But we're crossing fingers, and my father came to help, so let's hope it works out for us, shall we? Anyhow, so in saying that, guys, if nobody does, oh, I will give you guys the link if you'd like to join. But, and I think Ray or someone just did, so I'm going to post the link in case you want to join. But if it's too late, I apologize again. I just wanted to get in here in case there were any questions. Saw a couple of things in the news that, about seahorses that I wanted to cover, but we'll keep it short and sweet this week, and just jump in if you'd like. And if not, then, ask questions in the comments. And we just want to be here in case you have questions or want to share something that's going on with you. And let me see, did Ray just join? Ray's here. Hi, Ray. How are you?
Hi. Oh, not too bad.
Anything new going on with you?
No, I just spent the day doing some baking.
Baking. What you baking?
A couple loaves of bread and honey crullers.
What are honey crullers?
They're donuts. You've never had honey
I
crullers?
have not, but they sound magical. I'm gonna have to
They
have some now.
they kind of melt in your mouth.
Ooh. See, I'm trying this whole lockdown quarantine thing. All we wake up and it's like, what shall we cook today? Are any of you guys in the audience, do you guys have that kind of problem where like all there is to do is cook new things and eat? So that's like what we do. We go on walks. We try to exercise. We got
Bread
schoolwork.
I've been doing- the bread I've been doing for years, but the honey crullers, the only donuts I ever liked.
Really?
We have a chain here called Tim Horton Donuts,
Okay.
and that's where I used to get them all the time. But I never go in there anymore, especially since the wife died back in 11.
Sure.
Never go there. We used to go there because she always had to have her coffee.
Ah.
Uh, so basically, since then, I might have had them a couple times when the daughters would go in and pick something up for themselves. Then they'd drop me off a couple of these honey crullers because they know that I liked them. But I don't remember why I did it, but somehow I went online and I was looking up something about donuts and I saw this thing for honey crullers. And I thought you had to have special extrusions
Mm.
to make these things. Well, all you need is lots of eggs and a bit of flour and then a cake decorator to squeeze them out.
I was gonna, I was gonna say it's fascinating that we can easily figure out how to cook these complex things at home these days. That's been Sean's big thing. He's Mr. Gordon Ramsay now. He didn't do donuts or what are they called? I'm sorry,
Honey crullers.
honey crullers. I'm gonna have to rewatch this when we're done and tell him it's his next adventure. But I saw Chris. Hi, Chris. I'm sorry to hear you're so busy at work. We really appreciate you, Essentials, and absolutely someone like you doing all this work in the seahorse industry and for Seahorse Australia, Seahorse World. Amazing. We're so glad that you're still at it, but we feel bad that we're sitting here talking about sitting home cooking. Sorry. At least you won't be 500 pounds when this is over, like some of us. But, anyways, oh, I forgot to mention too, I'm not going to cry the whole time, I promise, guys. But the other thing is, in case you notice, I'm in a little champagne glass with my wine. So if you see me refill it, sorry, it's a lot smaller because I broke my wine glass getting ready for this stream. It's just been a day, I'll tell you. But Ray, I'm glad to hear yours has been better. Any
You're having mixed drinks, are you?
what?
You're having mixed drinks?
Wine, it's still wine. It's just I'm in the champagne glass. I'm in a very small
Oh,
glass because I broke my wine glass. Ooh, really quick before we go to Seahorses, guys, I just got to tell you, for anybody out there who does drink, in the comments, let me know if you've come up with any new concoctions during quarantine. I found whipped cream vodka mixed with Fago, which is so bad for you, I know, but it tastes like, oh, Ray, what are those old things? What are the things that creamsicle? Is that the orange?
I haven't had a drink since the Thursday night before Christmas of '91.
Wow. Well, and that's amazing. For anyone who doesn't drink, I bet there's a non-alcoholic version. But mixing even just whipped cream and Fago. Hey, is creamsicle the right word? Is that what it's called? I think it is. The old orange things that, you know. Okay, anyways.
There's orange on the outside and ice cream on the inside.
Okay, well, it tastes just like that. It's really good. So try it out if you, whether you're a drinker or not. And let me see what else we got in the comments. It's okay, you love food. Hey, Ray, I want to chit chat about your whatever's going on with you and your seahorses. But while Chris is still with us, in case he has any comments, did you happen to see the new species? There's another new pygmy seahorse species.
Yeah, I saw that.
You did? Okay. Graham Short has actually come to Wine Wednesday before. He's a great guy, you guys. He's so down to earth and nice, and he's out here doing us all this cool shit stuff. Not the other word. But what did you gather from that? And Chris, do you have any details you want to add? Did you get anything? What'd you get out of it, Ray?
I didn't really pay much attention to it. If I can't keep it in my tank, then I don't have the same kind of interest.
Truth, and that's fair enough. And for sure, the pygmy seahorses cannot be kept in aquariums, at least at this point. Ray, what's your thoughts on the reasoning behind that? Why do you think we can't keep them?
Oh, that's way above my pay scale.
Well, there's actually an
That's
excellent.
Donald Trump. He knows everything.
Ask who? Oh, stop. No, what I was going to say is, let's see. Oh, I'm going to get the name wrong now. There's an excellent article about the pygmy seahorses that I will try to remember to link when we're done, explaining why we can't really, keep them in aquariums. But there's all this amazing work going on, Richard Ross and all of them. But I'll try to link that. It's Reef to Reef, I'm pretty sure, article when we're finished here. But excellent article there. And I will link the Zuki's article that Graham Short posted telling us about the new species. It's called, Chris, correct me if I'm wrong, Hippocampus, oh, somebody's name, Hippocampus nalu. It's Nalu. So I'm not good with enunciations and such, but I think it's nalu. South African, from the Indian Ocean. Very cool. I just think it's so cool when they find these new species because it just shows that we're still learning and we're still finding new interesting things about seahorses out there. So, anyways, let me know what you guys think
The
about
link
that.
isn't working.
What?
Dan says the link isn't working.
Oh no. Okay. Well, Ray, talk about tell. I do have a couple other things to chit chat about, but let me fix this Dan Link thing. And Ray, can you tell me what's going on with your seahorses? Anything new? Anything going
No,
on? So no, the gas
they're just
bubble's
being,
gone.
they're just being nice company.
Nice company. What
Yeah.
what do you love about seahorses? I'm curious.
Oh gosh, have no idea.
Wow. Let me see. Dan, hey, really quick, Dan, I'm gonna see if maybe inviting you through Hangouts would work. So try coming through Hangouts. I've invited you, and I will try to send it again. But yeah, it's just the same link. So I'm not really sure, man. I'm sorry. So I'm trying to talk and send at the same time, guys. Sorry, Dan.
Well, mine worked.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe try a phone, Dan, or something else. Wine Wednesday retry. Okay. All right. Anyhow, we've talked about that multiple times before, but I'm curious to anybody in the audience, what do you love about seahorses? Whether they be the ones in your aquarium, the ones you want to get into your aquarium, or just the study of seahorses in the wild and conservation work. Tell me what you love about them and what really, draws your attention to these little magnificent, crazy looking creatures. um, I
I
could.
think my original start was basically because I'd been in salt water for quite a few years, and seahorses were something that not very many people had, and when they did have them, they didn't have them for long.
Yep.
So it was more like a challenge.
I was gonna say I was asked to write a little brief, introduction to Seahorse Whisperer and what kind of stuff we've been up to. And that was, the main question was what got you interested into the hobby and then into seahorses. And it was my answer was very similar. It was like fascination. I'm just fascinated with marine life in general, and then to be able to keep it in aquariums and seahorses that are so. When I first heard that you could keep seahorses, I was like, no way. And there's still people out there that don't realize that you can. And of course, we talk a lot about captive breeding and how only certain species should be kept, but it's fascinating to me. And to succeed with them, I mean, they're not really extremely active fish that, like in your reef tank, you got all this buzzing and everything going on and flowing and everybody everywhere and chasing. They're not exactly like that. Those seahorses do chase, especially the males, in my opinion. But they're so magical looking. They're just beautiful, and their dancing and their courting is just, oh, I just love them. Okay. Anyways, Dan, let me know if you're able to get back in or if we're still having trouble. Chris, I'm trying to look at the comments. Did I pronounce that species correct? I'm curious. Chris, try the Fago, or Sean tried it with Mountain Dew Orange with whipped cream vodka. Oh my gosh, it's so good. Okay. Um, and Dan saying it's still no one was there. Well, I'm literally in the Hangout sending it to you from us. I don't know, Dan. I'm so sorry. Um, I don't know. I don't know what to do. I really don't. I'm not real sure because if it worked for Ray, so. And Philosophish, yes, they are just sort of magical. Speaking of the seahorses, um, Dan, last thought. Did you try from the restream? Here, you know what I could try to do? I could try to just messenger it to you. Um, Let me see if that might work. I'm sorry. Usually, if the link's not working through YouTube or whatever, if I go to the Hangout, then lots of times you just join that call and you're there. But we're sitting here, so I don't know. I don't know what to say. All right. Anyways, moving forward. Ray, before I go
I
on,
clicked on your link and it worked.
yeah, I'm not real sure,
I'm talking about. I just right now I clicked on the link that you had in the on the page there.
and it
Not I'm not
worked,
talking. You sent me on the email.
but it worked in there too, huh? I don't know, Dan. Could it possibly be like,
Yeah, right now I've got two hangouts here that I'm on now.
well, this isn't
The
working.
one I just clicked off your page there is on the Hangouts and it says join Hangouts.
Okay, well, the only other thing I can think of, Dan, is maybe like microphone audio or camera might need to be turned on. I don't have any idea. I'm so sorry. Please keep trying and let me know if I can do anything else to try to get you in here. But it's the same link. I don't know what's going on. Okay, and if you think of anything, I'll definitely stop and try to do it. I just don't know what else to. Oh, Dan's in. Hi, Dan. I see you, but I don't hear you. Check your microphone access. I'm thinking. Okay, well, while Dan tries to figure that out, because we've got other people here. Guys, if you have any questions about seahorses or any topic you want to discuss, please feel free to jump in to the Hangout or to type your question in the comments. And Dan is here. Hi, Dan.
I think I'm here.
You are. I can hear me echo a little bit, but as long as it doesn't bother anybody else, we are good. How are you, Dan?
As
Somebody's
mean and
got a
murmur as
dog
ever.
barking.
What was it?
Somebody's got a dog barking.
Oh, that's.
Yeah, I do.
My dog's looking at the screen here. He looks around behind the screen looking for the dog.
Oh no. How cute. Hey Dan, what's been going on with you lately? Anything new?
Now just same old stuff.
You doing okay?
Shipped a few seahorses, trying to put some miles on the bike and get used to it.
Oh yeah. How's that going? Are you loving it?
It's good. Terrorized my grandson with it, and I'm trying to It's been 10 years since bike get back. It's been 14 years.
Wow.
Um, so I've been playing.
You kind of break it.
This bike is an on and off road bike, so I've been doing a little bit of both.
Very cool. Just to let you know, you might have to hold real still because you broke up a little bit, but no worries. I got the gist of it. And you guys check out.
I lost you.
You can't hear me now? I don't know what's going on. Okay, well, if you guys want to check out Dan's new bike, it's on his Facebook page. Check it out. Very, very cool. I hope, Dan, if you start hearing me again, I was curious about your thoughts about the new species. Did you happen to see that?
No, I'm gonna go reset my router. I think I'm
Okay.
having a horrible time here.
Okay.
I think it's I don't I don't know what the hell's going on, but I'm gonna reset my router and see what
Okay,
happens.
well, join back if you can. I said at the beginning we won't be on
Yeah,
long because of my own problems, but jump in if you can. See you soon.
okay.
All right. Okay, guys. So we don't get his take on the new species, but he's probably about as interested as Ray. Does it interest you guys in the audience? I just think it's fascinating. I'm really interested in how many species and how they keep, finding new ones. I just think it's fascinating. But hey, Salty Reef. Let's see. Philosophish already said hello. Don't be barking. All right. What was the other thing that I wanted to jump on? Oh, did you guys notice that Macna was canceled? I'm curious to your opinion about that. I am so bummed out because Macna is something I look forward to every single year. So I'm like bummed out. Of course, it does give me more time to prepare for the Seahorse and Pipefish get together and the Women in Reefing get together for next year. Now I have more time to prepare it, but I'm still really bummed out that we're going to miss this. And I'm curious if the events in your area are continuing to be canceled. Ray, you never really attend
I
any.
never go anyway.
Yeah, okay. Well,
Even if they had it here in Toronto or something, like it's only an hour and a half drive to Toronto, and I still wouldn't bother.
see, I love the events. That I get so much out of them because not only do I get to see the newest things coming out, which sometimes it doesn't really matter to me, but just getting to know the people there. I don't just go to events like MACNA, which is held by MASNA, and which is not all commercial. It's got a lot of talks from some of the experts, and you just get to connect with a bunch of people. But I also attend events like Marine Breeding Initiative that really seriously get in the top breeders and have them discuss their methods and what's working and what's not and what's wrong and right. And I'm just, curious how long these events will be canceled. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I understand why they did it, but I'm just curious if like the Reefapaloozas and all of those are still happening. So let me know what's going on in each of your areas. Anybody in the audience, let me know. Um, and how you feel about it, because in my post I said I completely comprehend why, and I think it's really cool that they care more about the health of people um, than holding an event or what they might have spent on it or whatever. And so I think that's really awesome and impressive. It's just bums me out. I'm kind of curious when we'll be able to have these type of events again. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. But is is Dan back in? Oh, he must be still resetting. Okay. Anyways, again, guys, I'm going to try to keep this one kind of brief. So if you have any thoughts, comments, questions, I know I talked to someone last week who was very interested in coming and asking some questions, but I know we started late. So if you watch this later, I apologize. Promise next week we'll try to be more on time, okay? And Philosophish said Reef Toberfest is the next one that you're aware of, and you haven't heard that it was canceled. Cool. Let me know if it's still held, because like with Macna, I know Arizona was really excited, for it to be there, and they said that they're going to announce, I think June or July 1st, where 2021 will be held, but I'm guessing it probably won't be Phoenix, which kind of is a bummer. What can you do though? What can you do? um, I don't know. I don't know what you can do. That's the answer. So um, let's see. Ray, anything else you wanted to chit chat about, or?
No, I just pop in just to see what's what goes up and who gets on and who, what kind of questions.
Well, I'll tell you one of the questions that I could throw at you that was asked is where we've talked endlessly on this channel about the lack of resources that when it comes to actually keeping seahorses. Things have changed so much from forums to now you've got Facebook and all this instant gratification, instant answers kind of thing, which is good and bad in many ways, which we've discussed. But has your answer changed? Like if someone says, "Where should I go to learn about keeping seahorses?" What do you say at this point?
I still use the org and the files on each of the Seahorse Facebook pages.
Okay, so you now, I mean,
Oh, and then R2R.
Reef to Reef is very good too, for sure.
Yeah.
Isn't that, is Reef to Reef where Cheryl did her series? I'm pretty sure it is.
Well,
You
you're
don't know?
asking someone with cognitive impairment. I don't remember things.
Well, speaking of trying to remember things, I'm going to try to remember to link that too when we're done. I've got a list going here, 3 things I got to link when we're done. But I'm pretty sure it was where Cheryl, her name actually on Reef to Reef, I think, is Seahorse Whisperer. So it's really funny. We've discussed many times that this is a shared name. We're all Seahorse Whisperers. But she wrote this really great 4-part series about keeping seahorses that is excellent. And I did note too that Seahorse Savvy actually has an articles page now where they, oh, we're seeing something in Dan's stuff. Dan, do you know you're showing us stuff?
No, that's me, Chris.
Oh, Chris! Hi, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to mistake you. Okay, well, really quick, I just wanted to say Seahorse Savvy has an article page that's really great that she talks about, or they talk about, keeping and raising seahorses. Chris, how are you?
Not too bad. How about yourself?
Not too bad. What?
Not too bad. How about yourself? How's everything going over there?
It's going. It's going. Hey,
Yum.
how are things going with the seahorses?
Yeah, all the seahorses are going really well. Lots of babies coming along, and got some stuff happening.
That you can't tell us yet, I'm sure. I love your messages though. When you sneak me information, I try really hard to keep my lips zipped. But it's
Have you
exciting.
got them practicing social distancing?
I haven't really seen or had much contact with people for like the last 3 months. I occasionally see like Rochelle and occasionally see a couple of my co-workers, but aside from that, I haven't really seen anyone or had much contact with people for the last 3 months. So it's mostly just seahorses.
Well, yeah, he was talking about the seahorses. Are they socially distancing?
Ah, not really, not really. They're getting together, they're having babies, and
Not
yeah.
paying attention, eh? So, how are you doing it all by yourself? I mean, are you all by yourself right now? I mean, do you,
Uh, yes and no. I've got someone who covers like my weekends and that still, but aside from that, it's mostly just me at the facility and just running things by myself. And it's kind of weird. It's kind of good in a way, like not having any visitors through our facility. It's a little bit quiet and eerie. It's kind of like something out of a horror movie. You're just waiting for a monster to pop out and get you.
ooh, I bet. It probably is creepy. Ooh, gosh, I can't even imagine. But I'm just so glad and grateful that they, did determine that that was the best route and didn't, I can't even imagine what else they could have decided. But I'm just glad you're there taking care of things. And I'll keep my fingers crossed that you don't get jumped by any boogeymen.
I'm probably the boogeyman that walks around the
Oh,
facility, so I think that should be fine.
well then, well then. Hey, did I pronounce that species right, or did you even hear about it?
Yeah, I think it's Nalu.
Yeah.
I don't really know if there's any other pronunciation for it, and I'm pretty horrible with pronunciation as well. So you're butchering it, so am I. It's all good.
We'll do it together. Do you think?
Exactly.
What are your thoughts on the fact that they keep finding new species? Do you think that's gonna? I mean, what do you think?
I think it's really cool.
Me
I
too.
think there's probably a lot of species out there, like, a lot of the life that hasn't been discovered yet is deep in the oceans. And I mean, for all we know, there's like a whole bunch of them still down there just waiting to be discovered.
Right? Isn't it cool? Do you think we'll ever be able, like, even if it's not at a hobbyist level, but do you think that, like you, for instance, will ever be able to keep pygmy seahorses in captivity, or?
I don't think I personally will be able to keep them because a lot of them where they live and their sort of habitats and that
Right.
just aren't really suitable for the type of thing that I'm doing, like farming seahorses.
Sure.
I think it would be great if we could get them to that stage, and who knows, like maybe 20 years down the track, maybe we'll work out the kinks and basically figure out exactly how to keep them easily, and they'll be something that we'll laugh about in 20 years about how easy they are to keep, and how just couldn't quite figure it out back in these days.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, no,
but
sorry. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I was just agreeing with you absolutely. And yeah, it's duplicating their environment that's so difficult, because I remember when Richard Ross was working on it, the big difficult thing was that they lived on a specific type of, I think, Gorgonian or some sort of sea life that's hard to keep in an aquarium. And I don't know, just I hope in 20 years, I hope you're right that we're looking back and laughing, but now I'm curious too, because here the dwarf seahorses are not captively bred very often. I mean, I know Seahorse Savvy does, but I know Dan has said in the past that it was too the cost of keeping them and breeding them and rearing them compared to the cost that they would sell for just didn't make it feasible. So I'm thinking, man, the cost of a pygmy seahorse, I don't think we're ever going to see them in hobbyist aquariums. But anyway, I'm rambling. Tell me more about you. Sorry. anything you
no, it's okay.
anything you
I think with the pygmy seahorses, they would always be a very niche thing. Like you'd almost need to have someone who's obsessed with some of the corals and things, who wants to branch out into that. But because it's a very niche thing within someone who keeps corals, and it's a very niche thing within someone who keeps seahorses, you would have an even more specified sort of overlap there with someone who wants to do both.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Agreed. And I mean, we were just talking before you joined. Ray was saying that that's kind of why he got into seahorses, is the challenge and doing something that other people weren't. So you never know. You never know. But I agree with you. It's so niche. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, definitely. Like, and you'll find them sort of people. Like, I'm sort of one of them people that loves a challenge, and sometimes people like us sort of go out of our way to punish ourselves trying to keep things that are really, really hard.
The one time I stepped out and really tried to do something that was out of my league, I admit, were the oh my gosh, I'm gonna forget the name now. Oh gosh, guys, um, what are they called? Not the pipe dragon or something like that. Ghost dragon. What am I saying wrong? You know what I'm?
Ghost pipefish.
That's it. The ghost pipefish. And I, the only reason I even tried is because they were on sale, or they were being sold, and I kind of bought them thinking that I would have a better shot than I'm not saying I'm anybody special, but I just thought maybe, like, with Dan's help and it's in your help, that I'd have a better shot, and I failed, just to let you guys know. So yeah, I don't step out that far usually, but with seahorses, it's been an extraordinary journey, learning, like Erectus are so easy to keep, but then trying to keep Barbori, it's so different and exciting and challenging. And when you succeed, it's such an awesome feeling. So again, I'm rambling. Uh, what else is going on with you? I know you can't tell us a whole bunch of stuff, but is there any species you can share, or anything new going on with you that you're able to share?
I've just been working on the same species of late. So our baby sea dragons are growing up. They're fully trained onto frozen food now. So that's really good. And they've, like, I don't know, probably tripled or quadrupled in size. They're just growing up so fast. And we've got some baby spotted pipefish coming along. They're really, really cute.
Oh,
Um, we've got lots of whitey eye coming along. So hundreds and hundreds of the whitey eye. And we've got some the next generations of our tuberculatus that we got in, our little dwarfs. They're breeding, and we've got heaps of babies coming through with them. So hopefully we can build up the populations, and we'll get to a point eventually where we can actually make them available for the aquarium trade.
I was just gonna say the whitey eye is really fantastic, because I remember David Harasti's article, and how he's doing all this work because there are so few left. So the breeding, you're breeding them is excellent. I'm curious. Um, I was gonna ask you what is like. Are you currently not selling at all? Is or
No, so we are actually still selling.
okay?
We're still, shipping out just about every week.
Hmm.
Um, it hasn't really been affected that much compared to what I thought it would have been.
Oh, good.
We might not be shipping out in the same sort of numbers because a few of our, big customers in certain countries have basically gone into lockdown, so they're not producing, they're not purchasing, sorry, the big orders and that they used to. But it's still been fairly consistent, and
Good.
it's been really sort of, it's been good to see. It's been really reassuring.
That is, and that oh, I'm so glad to hear that because that's a big fear, and I'm just really glad to hear from an actual place that things are still working and looking up and etc. So thank you. I'm dying to ask a couple quick questions about the sea dragons because I just think they're so cool. Is it
Yeah,
is it extremely difficult to wean them onto frozen, or is it just the
yeah,
same as seahorses?
it's a pain in the butt.
Oh no. 'Cause is the key that they require literally the food to seem real and stay in the column or water column, or is there a key to it, or is it
I think the key is consistency and persistence.
just keep going?
Um, but it takes a long time and it gets frustrating, and there's a lot of wasted food
Mm,
in the process. And uh, like I know a few people who would probably be very good at transitioning them, but for reality purposes, they don't have the time
mm,
or effort to do that. Which is a bit of a shame because I think if they were commercially available, weaned onto frozen food, I think it would make them more
accessible.
more accessible
Yeah,
for the hobby or for the trade.
sure. Now, don't you, now with sea dragons, you have to have a huge tank, though, right? Is that correct?
In theory, yes. I mean, you need consistency, and you need you know good water parameters, and you need very consistent sort of temperature, or you don't. If you do a water change, you don't want really big swings,
Sure.
or you don't even really want medium-sized swings in terms of temperature and things like that. But they do need quite a big uh, amount of space to swim around because they do grow quite large.
Mm,
And but coming from the aquarium hobby at large, like there's a lot of I guess monster fish keepers that keep fish that grow 1, 2, or even more feet long,
sure.
who keep tanks that I could very easily imagine you could convert for sea dragons. Might
Mhm.
need some changes to filtration and that to what they would run for, say, a freshwater fish. But you know, there's definitely if
Possibilities.
you had someone that was really passionate about them and had I guess the money and the space
Sure.
and the time, they I don't see any reason why they couldn't be kept by a hobbyist if they were dedicated.
It's like my dream. So you're talking to the right person, and I know that Seahorse that Alyssa has dragonfish. She doesn't sell them or anything, but it's she's succeeding as far as I know.
Yeah,
So which
that'd
is
be
great, and yeah, what you're doing, like seriously, and I understand that we think things, and then we learn more, and then the rules change. I get that, but I really thought for a long time that sea dragons couldn't be kept because they couldn't be weaned down to frozen. So the fact that you're literally weaning fry is just awesome, or baby, whatever, is just really great. And I understand what you're saying, that it would be great to have someone who was more of a specialist in that area, or however you want to say it. But I think it's cool that you're doing it. I just applaud you and think it's so cool that you are staying consistent and persistent and successful and becoming successful. That's just yay. So anyways, done rambling again, but yeah, I
good.
Just think it's cool. What else is
I was young enough, I'd be interested in doing it just for the challenge.
right? I think people would, and there's a fine line about whether or not they should be available to just anybody, but
They sound a little bit too old to start.
yeah, you never know though. You might have a second one. No, um, but yeah, Chris, how do you think that would even work, or do you think there's no way that they could say only I don't never mind. I don't even know how to ask the question and it's too objective. So never mind. Let's move on. What else is going on with you? I just want to make sure you have a chance to share anything you want to share because I know you can't join very often.
Yeah, just been doing my thing at work, and because there's no one around, I've had I guess unprecedented levels of freedom to I guess chop and change setups, and we've moved a lot of stock around, and I've done some deep cleans that I've been dreaming of only in my wildest dreams. Where I've been able to go through and do deep cleans on systems that just hasn't ever been practical before for I guess taking them off display, where normally we can't do that sort of thing because visitors are coming through daily. So I've been able to do that, which is fantastic, and it's been great for our I guess being able to give some of these systems these deep cleans and maybe get rid of some of the less desirable organisms
Sure.
that I'm a fan of. So I'm actually waging a bit of a war on some of those organisms and having some success, I hope. But I'll find out in the next 6 months if any of them re-emerge.
Sure.
Um, yeah.
That's awesome. How long does it take you to actually like do water changes on these on so many guys? I feel terrible. I don't think I actually anybody who comes here regularly knows, but I forgot to announce Chris. Um, and you do you technically work for Seahorse World or Seahorse Australia, or is there?
Seahorse World, but
Okay,
I kind of work between both sometimes.
sure. So
I've been doing some maintenance jobs up at their end of the facility as well.
sure.
So
How long does it take you to just maintenance the systems?
it depends on what level of maintenance. Like if you're just talking about water changes, it depends on the size of the system, but usually the water changes can be done anywhere between say maybe 10 minutes, or some of them take about an hour to fully drain and scrub and refill. But some of these deep cleans that I've been doing go to like the next level of OCD, where you're literally taking the whole system apart, scrubbing every square inch of the things, and then actually scrubbing inside all the pipe work and taking apart filters and scrubbing everything. And then sometimes we've been going to the next level and been sterilizing everything on top of that,
Oh,
to literally just eradicate, just nuke everything and start again from scratch, which is a bit of a pain because you lose all of your biological filtration,
right.
and you have to start again. But I guess that's the beauty of it, in that you do have to start again, and you start again without some of the same problems.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I had a question on the tip of my tongue and it just left me. So if it comes back, we'll jump around. But I'm curious, as far as the tours and etc. Is there any? Do you have any clue as to timeline as to when you guys might resume, or is it just you're not even looking at it until further notice from like the government or whatever?
Yeah, we're still waiting on further notice. So
Sure.
I think in Tasmania this week, some businesses are starting to resume.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, there's essential businesses that have stayed open through the course of all this,
Sure.
but there's more businesses coming back into the fold this week, and then I think it's over the next month or so, more and more businesses will slowly be resuming, and then it's almost like a bit of a wait and see approach. So if we bring a lot more businesses back and there's not a great spike in viruses and that,
Right.
then, or if the viruses just disappear altogether, then more and more businesses will resume. But it's almost like a wait and see approach. So they're just gradually easing it back in. But yeah, just because of the nature of our business, and I guess tourism has been one of the hardest affected industries by this. So, we'll probably be realistically one of the last to come back. So we don't really have a timeline at this point. We've still had lots of people calling up and asking if we're open and stuff. So that's reassuring. And hopefully once things start to get back to normal, there'll be lots of people that'll be keen to get out of the house and, just go and see or do stuff. So
Fingers crossed.
hopefully, we'll be busy once we reopen and yeah.
Well, and especially it's in a situation like yours where, you guys don't just, do tours and teach. You do tours and teach. You also do a bunch of captive breeding programs that not only help like the industry, like people in public aquariums, but you also do breeding for re-release in the environment and conservation. I mean, you guys are doing so many good, great, wonderful, awesome things that we need to make sure you guys get taken care of and stay open and reopen, because for sure that would be a tremendous loss for the entire world if that didn't happen. So I've got all fingers crossed, and I mean I don't have any doubt that you guys will be fine, but I'm just glad to hear the reassuring coming from you, because it's important and your guys are important. How are you doing personally? You doing okay on on a personal level? No.
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm probably not sleeping as much as I used to, and
Sure.
maybe a bit more stress and maybe a bit more drinking. But aside from that, it's all good. I've actually I haven't given up caffeine, but I've actually given up drinking energy drinks.
Ooh.
So that's probably a good thing for my health.
Yeah.
Because I was probably drinking too many of those too often.
Sure. Was it hard? Was it hard
and,
to give them up? Sorry.
yes and no. It's more of a habit thing, I guess. Just changing up your habits, and it was hard for like the first week or two because I was getting like caffeine headaches. I was like really, really angry and just frustrated, and I was like getting kind of withdrawal symptoms, and then I was putting it to the test to figure out whether I was dehydrated or whether I was getting withdrawal symptoms, and I made some coffee and gradually had some of that, and then the caffeine headache went away.
Yeah.
So my body was just screaming at me, have some caffeine, Chris.
Right. Well, I mean, congratulations, because habits die hard, and I know myself. I've got a few that I need to nip in the bud, and it's not easy. So, congratulations on that one. And you haven't had any scares about people around you being sick, or well, I know you said you weren't around many people, but you haven't had any. Weren't you sick for a minute? I'm trying to remember back. I feel like you were. Didn't you get sick for a minute, or no?
I might have been sick at one point. I can't remember. Nothing too serious though. Just because I haven't had much contact with people.
Sure.
I know a few people that have had, I guess, virus scares because they work with, in hospitals and things like that. But no one that I know has had the virus. Touch wood.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, don't you wish that we could just sterilize the world the way we sterilize an aquarium and start over with nobody dying?
Just start over and clean slate.
Be nice, and nobody go quote me. I'm not saying to actually do anything. Don't call Clorox. It was just a joke, people. But yeah, so I don't want to, go all Corona talk, because I hate that I always end up talking about it. But I'm just curious how it is there for you. Are you just described how the businesses are starting to reopen and stuff? Are they really into like the masks, or is it just about the same there that it is everywhere else, or are they different about
I'm
it?
not too sure because I don't really get out very much, so I'm probably the wrong person to ask.
No worries. No worries. Well, I'm just glad you've stayed safe and you're good. But anyways, and I interrupted you earlier. Was there anything else you wanted to share? And I put a question up, guys. If you guys have any questions for Chris about what's going on with him or over there, shoot it out now. But I feel like I interrupted you. Was there more you wanted to say about what's going on with you?
Not really. I did handball our Redeye off to Seahorse Australia. So now they're going to start producing seahorses, like the red eye, down at their facility. So it's actually a really good thing because it didn't really make sense how we were producing them earlier, like just me sort of producing them. So it sort of frees me up to work on my other species a little bit more, and it'll make things a bit more efficient, I feel. So yeah, lots of good things happening, even though, in spite of all the bad stuff happening, it's actually freed us up in some areas to make some of these changes for the better, I think.
Sure.
I think once everything, blows over or passes, I think, it might actually, a few of these things might actually work out for the better.
Sure. Yeah, it just dawned on me that you guys had just gotten the restaurant to become a success, and then this stuff happened. Oh, but what you're saying makes sense, and I'm glad that you're getting time to work on projects. So you said you handed off the reed eye to Seahorse Australia. So I always get confused. I'm sorry. But so which one is more angled at the tourism side? Is that
So that's Seahorse World. So that's my facility.
okay?
They just work on producing tropical varieties of seahorses and shrimp and clownfish.
Okay.
But yeah, it didn't really make sense logistically for me to be the one that were producing red eye, because obviously they're a more tropical species. So yeah, it just made a lot of sense to, I guess, pass the baton to them, and or pass the torch, and yeah, so they'll start producing them now at their facility, and it should be a bit more efficient in a lot of ways. So
I
I'm just going to be focusing on our temperate and subtropical species now. So they'll be focusing on our tropical species, and I'll be focusing on the subtropical and temperate species.
That does make perfect sense. Of course, you got the kind of harder ones. Well, I guess that's debatable. I know. I think you and Ray have said that the abdominalis are like the easiest, but I don't know. It just seems like I guess it's not harder, is it? It's just temperature, right? I mean, is that the main thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think each of them come with their own sort of quirks and challenges. But I think, yeah, something like the red eye are definitely more challenging than the abdominalis and that. But we've got a few subtropical species that I'd probably say are just as hard, if not harder.
I find the abs the very easiest of maybe 7 species that I've kept, and like it's not even a close second. Like they're so far out in front, and I think
Yeah,
it's just because all the rest of them needed to be above 68
Hmm.
or do it, and with the abs, it's below that, and I don't have to worry about the bacteria problem.
Vibrio, whatever.
You put them in the tank, you feed them, and you leave them. You change the water once in a while.
Yeah,
yep.
I'm sorry, Chris. It's fascinating how much the temperature affects things, and I always thought they were just hardier, but what you're saying makes perfect sense. And go ahead, Chris. I'm sorry for interrupting. Go ahead.
No, it's fine. Like, yeah, the pot bellies or the abdominalis are definitely the easiest that I've worked with. There's a few that are actually sort of semi close, but in terms of like breeding and raising, but
Haven't you said that?
yeah,
I'm sorry. Haven't you said that the whitey eye are pretty easy, or am I mistaken?
yeah, the whitey eye are relatively easy. They're actually probably one of my personal favourites at the moment, and I've really focused hard on breeding and raising them, and I've made a few tweaks that have made things a lot easier in recent times. So um, it's just about sort of how you approach it, I guess.
Sure. Well, I'm just glad that you're figuring things out, learning and making tweaks, and being so successful, because that's again an important species, and um, you just you don't hear many positive success stories, and so I'm just so glad to hear yours. But anyways, did we cut you off again, or did you get to share? I'm not.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. Like, there are actually some positive, I guess, success stories with, especially with whitey eye of late. Sydney Aquarium actually has done a breeding program with Sydney
Ooh,
University, I believe it is, and released some whitey eye into the wild.
wow.
That's really good for them.
Yes.
Um,
Very cool. I'm gonna say Philosophish and Ray. I'm not asking those questions, Chris. They're asking like silly math questions. I'm not gonna do it. Sorry.
That's not math.
Well, if it, oh, what
It's
did
just
it?
a stupid question.
Is it?
So I just put another stupid question back at it.
We don't call stupid Ray, but no, I got you. And I wanted to say hi to Chimp. How are you? Hope you're doing well. Hey, Chimp, if you're still watching, I'm curious if you've heard about any events that are actually going to still occur this year within the industry, because I saw Magna was canceled. So, hey, Chris, in Australia, do you guys have a lot of different like events like that or no? Like where reef clubs get together or on a really high level like Mazda and Macna, that kind of thing, or no?
Not on that quite. They're not quite as big as the US ones, just because the aquarium trade, I guess, or the aquarium hobby is a bit smaller, just due to our smaller population. But we do have some, trade shows and a few events like that. There was actually one a few months ago. It kind of snuck through just before all of
Oh.
this coronavirus stuff really sort of hit. And it was the Underwater Pet Expo,
Hmm.
and that was actually put together by a hobbyist, which was really, really cool. He kind of managed to arrange all of this kind of off his own back, and he arranged with a lot of aquarium suppliers, and lots of different aquarium-based sort of companies, and got lots of sponsorships, and brought together a lot of Australian YouTubers and all that sort of stuff. And he managed to pull all that together, which was really, really cool.
That is amazing.
And
Sorry.
I'm sort of kicking myself now that I didn't get to go and do that. So
Right. Uh-oh, the
That
dogs.
is not-
Well, Chris, if you get to go next year, make sure to let us know, everything that you learn or see or whatever. We want to see pictures and stuff and video. Very cool. And yeah, I actually missed Macna last year. I cried about it before. I'm not going to do it again, but it still makes me sad. And obviously now I'm going to miss it again this year since it's canceled. But so no news though about events that are coming up, because uh, like Macno wasn't. I think it was in August, so I was really kind of. I understand why they did it. I think it's awesome that they canceled it, caring more about people. But I was just surprised because it's three. It's in August. I don't know. So
yeah, I'm not too surprised they've had to close a lot of these sort of events of just mass gatherings of people, like lots of I guess music concerts and expos of all different sorts. Like I really follow video games a lot, and they've closed all the video games expos and that are happening all over the world this year. I think after 2020, we can just sort of write 2020 off and just start focusing on next year and
right.
start over next year, and hopefully things get back to normal by then.
Sure. What I thought was cool though, I saw on Graham Shorts again on his I think Twitter or something, where like even I've seen a lot of music people getting together and holding concerts, virtual concerts, and now I see that even the scientific community is doing things like that, virtual get-togethers. It would be really neat to see, some reef people do it. Now listen guys, I'm not controlled or enough to plan or pull off something like that. I'm not like the Australian, person who was able to pull that off. But if any of you guys are, let me know. I'd be happy to contribute because I think that'd be pretty darn cool. But anyway, somehow let each supplier share their stuff or have links and have the speakers actually still do their talks. That would have been cool. But anyways, it is what it is. 2021, here we come, and it'll be better. Amen. Love it. Agree. But and I didn't see any. I did. What's Tiger King? Oh Lord, Ray. No, no, no. Okay, is it Australia? Okay, I'll ask. Chris, is Australia watching Tiger King the way US is? Or
They are. I'm not.
there you go. I'll admit it. I went and watched it. I
What is
did.
it?
You don't know what it is?
No?
The Tiger King?
It's something on Netflix. I haven't watched it.
It's a Netflix
Tiger,
series.
Tiger that golfs?
Nope, it's a Netflix series of this this person that's kind of out there that takes care of like big cats, big
I
cats.
don't have Netflix.
Well, I unfortunately do. The kids, wouldn't leave me alone, and they really. I made them choose one because anymore you got 50 different options. You got Disney Plus, you got Amazon Prime, you get all the, and I'm like, pick one, kids, one, and they picked Netflix. So, anyways, didn't mean to go into that too much, but and guys, I said we were gonna keep it brief tonight, but then Chris joined, and I had to ask him a bunch of questions. So
I'm sorry.
no, I love it when you come. And I just wanted to, again, make sure that there was nothing else you wanted to share because I love when you come. So, and I'm sorry that Dan wasn't able to get in here because he always has tons of questions for you, but he's having internet problems. So, hopefully we'll be able to reconnect everybody soon. But I know you're so busy. But just glad to hear so much is going well and the positive note that you're on that things will continue to go well. Um, and I just wanted to make sure you get to share anything you wanted to, because I know I cut you off all the time. Sorry, but everything else is good with you.
Yeah, everything else is good.
All right. Well, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you jumping in when you can, Ray. As per usual, thank you for jumping in. But I am going to close it because I got to go see if my car's running. Lord help me. Everybody, cross their fingers for me, please. So, all right, guys, say your
Okay, good
goodbyes.
night.
Catch you guys.
Stay safe.
Thanks again for coming, guys. Thank you for everybody in the audience too. Happy Wine Wednesday. Cheers.